Every single person knows Steve Harvey as a family man and a father of many kids, both biological and adopted. But it's a highly guarded secret that's hiding behind the facade of this seemingly perfect plan that things are not that great, as Steve tried to show his audience.
All of my kids are here. My beautiful wife, they came here. This really was a surprise. I didn't know any of them were in town. I really didn't.
Word is on the street that the comedian's biological children are not happy with the family dynamics, and mostly importantly with their dad choosing his stepdaughter or his own flesh and blood. And there's even talk that Steve's kids plotting against their stepsister, Lori, and want to set their dad's priorities straight because, according to them, he has lost his way by revolving his life around his precious Lori. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Celeb Live Channel. In today's video, we are going to dive into behind the scenes of Steve Harvey's blended clan and find out why the vibe between the family members are so tense, and most importantly, why Lori's siblings are avoiding her and refuse to appear at family reunions. Famous comedian Steve Harvey has 7 children in total. He shares twins Brady and Carly, as well as son Broderick with his first wife, Marcia. Steve also has son Wynton with ex and second wife Mary Shackelford, and apart from that, he adopted his current wife Marjorie's children, Morgan, Jason, and Lori. And while all family photos on Instagram make you kind of jealous because of this vibrant family vibe, in reality, there's basically a feud between Steve's biological kids and Lori, and they even say that both Marjorie and Lori manipulate their father into getting what they want.
So you and your mama decided that I shouldn't go to no more damn awards show.
Since Marjorie agreed to become Steve's wife, the lives of Brady, Carly, Broderick, and Wynton have turned upside down. All of them didn't have a chance to enjoy time with their dad while they were young because he was busy building his career. And apparently, now that he's rich and wealthy, he still has no interest in getting to know them, and all his attention and generosity are devoted to the youngest daughter, while his other kids are being completely neglected compared to what Lori gets.
Allowance?
No, I don't get that much allowance, actually, so.
It turns out that the tension between the siblings is growing with every new day, as other kids watch Lori getting everything from dad's complete attention, quality time with him during family dinners, and even luxurious gifts that everyone else can only dream of. Apparently, Steve is not even trying to hide his favoritism, and other kids are tired to be neglected by their own dad. So they decided to stir some mud and let the world know what a parent Steve Harvey truly is. Just a couple of years ago, Steve gifted his apparent favorite 23-year-old stepdaughter a new Lamborghini Urus. There was no mention, however, on what gift, if any, his other kids received, and it seems like the conflict keeps growing with every new gift she receives. According to one source, Steve's kids are feeling incredibly jealous of Lori, especially because she was also abandoned by her real dad but got enough love from Steve, who forgot that he himself abandoned his children. The fact that Broderick once admitted during Steve's TV show,
I didn't really have my dad full-time into my life until I was 16, right?
Despite the fact that Lori isn't even related to Steve, except for on the paper, he clearly singles her out among his 7 children, and you should be blind not to notice that. Well, Lori is currently a rising star in the show business, but her real achievements so far are associated with her high-profile relationships and rocky personal life. While this girl doesn't bother about making her own way in the world because she doesn't need to worry about looking for a job or making a career, other kids don't get the same financial support from their millionaire dad. And as one insider claimed, Steve's dear wife, Marjorie, has something to do with the comedian's biological kids' estrangement. And you know, guys, there's actually something in this because Steve has had enough time for making amends with his other kids. However, you can still notice their resentment during the interviews and the bitterness they talk about their childhood years with.
That, yeah, you had those moments when you're a teenager and you're like, well, why isn't he there? But
apparently, all these family vibes that Steve Harvey tries to preach at the moment are nothing more than a facade, as his other children need to somehow get his attention. For example, by exposing their hatred toward Lori and the current family dynamics. And although Steve publicly stated that he was ready to make for the mistakes of his past, apparently, he didn't stick to his words. I had spent my entire life trying to make up for the mistakes I made as a young man. But it's obvious that Steve has no intention to reconnecting with his kids, and his time and attention are fully absorbed by Marjorie and Lori. This is the family of his dreams. Both women are public figures, both make him extremely proud with their looks and elegance. Both are trying to be in the spotlight as much as possible. Many people are disappointed in Steve because apparently everything he ever wanted from his life is to have that perfect public image. As one person commented, I have no respect for any man that remarries and forget about his real children and take up another man's kids as his own and shower that kid with everything and not his own. And another user added, it seems as though Steve is buying Marjorie and her children to keep the love of Marjorie, but it's only a matter of time before it all disintegrates. To add more fuel to this fire, here's a recently resurfaced allegation that Steve was more than absent from his children's lives, but also was violent with some of them. Yeah, guys, if you know Steve's insane divorce drama with his second wife, Mary, it didn't end just with her getting nothing but public humiliation.
Why is it in shambles?
Because we have a man of power and authority, and he used that in the court.
Despite Steve's attempt to silence Mary, she couldn't keep quiet and came forward with some serious accusations, exposing her ex's violent behavior in one particular incident. According to police reports, the comedian had brutally mistreated the young boy for lying about schoolwork, and after this, his body appeared to be covered in bruises and cuts. In addition, the young man was not able to use the restroom for days in the aftermath of his father's treatment. However, as it happens only in the worst nightmares, the villain has never been punished. And here's even more to tell. For posting a number of videos about Steve's atrocities on the internet and accusing the comedian of leaving her homeless, stealing her money, and turning their son against her, she received a huge slap on the face in the form of gag order, and there was nothing she could do against it because, according to her, Steve bribed everyone.
Because I'm a nobody. You know, his lawyers came in, his team of lawyers and his entourage, and, you know, he's a man with the power.
This most certainly raises a lot of questions about Steve's character, and it seems like there are only two people who are happy about everything, what's going on. It's Marjorie and Lori, who bathe in luxury, love, and attention, while everyone else is desperately trying to win an ounce of the comedian's love. As Steve himself once admitted, his eldest daughter's twins, Carly and Brandi, eventually told him that they gave up their fight for his attention because it was pointless. Years later, they said to me, "Dad, we didn't understand why you left us, but we know now you had to go. You didn't just belong to us. You belonged to the world." That was emotional for me. But as turned out, the feud for Steve's attention is getting real again because Marjorie and Lori seem to have taken everything that the comedian's biological kids are entitled to. And the saddest part of the whole story is that Steve is more than happy with having only these two as his family, and whatever they try to pull off, they do it perfectly, having the famous TV host under their influence.
We don't use the term stepchildren. I never referred to my youngest daughter as my stepdaughter. She's my daughter, she's my son.
And much to Lori's shame, she definitely enjoys her position as her dad's little princess, and she has no attempt to mend the relationship between the siblings and parents in this blended clan. By what it looks, Steve is not planning to change either, and this feud is doomed to last for many more years. Only time will tell what exactly Marjorie and Lori were aiming at by disconnecting these family members and taking all Steve's attention and love, and probably when Steve realizes what he missed with his biological kids, it may be too late for him. As one person commented, "Could you imagine, God forbid, if anything happened to Steve, his real blood children is not going to get anything. That's why his wife made sure he adopted her children's." And another user added, "She keeping that money for herself. I bet they're not on his will. Sometimes people do this to get to the bag. Shameful of Steve to do this to his own blood." Well, it seems like Marjorie's intentions are purely sinister, and her only desire is to make sure that Lori won't have to struggle in her life. And looking at how blindly Steve adores both Marjorie and Lori, his current wife apparently got what she wanted. And what do you reckon? Is this all about money and promising future for Lori? And will Steve's biological kids ever get even one of their dad's attention and love? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other videos about the Harveys. There's a lot of drama behind the facade of perfect family. Well, guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I promise to be back very soon